Hey, folks. I am going to keep this fairly short if I can and concise and just jump right into some of the things I've been learning, which are absolutely crazy. Let's see here. And I just got off a live stream with a really good friend of mine, Owen Video, YouTube coach. And I'm telling you, this is what we are all talking about now. It's incredible. It is incredible to me to see like what God is doing to reveal the truth through voices. I had no idea I would ever be talking about this stuff this year. If you would have told me that I would have completely renounced my AGI utopia and been through the worst health crash, like I had Lyme, long COVID, mold, Raynaud's, leaky gut, SIBO, chronic fatigue syndrome. I had like every single label that's starting to happen out there in America. I had every single label. And it was to a point where I could not sit at this computer for even 5 minutes. I felt like I was dying. And here I am. Just got off a 45-minute live interview with my friend Owen, where we talked about all of this. We talked about turbo cancer and why turbo cancer is happening in America and why it will continue to happen. We brought that to his audience, which is in the millions per month. And here I am going live talking to you guys. This is the mercy of God. I'm telling you right now, he wants to get the truth out there. He has compassion for those going through pain, and he wants total healing and abundance. That's his word. His word says that the thief came only to kill, steal, and destroy, but I came that they may have life and life abundantly. So if you're watching the replay, we're just jumping straight in. If you're here live, let me know in the comments. I'd love to say hi to you. But we're going to keep this short and jump right in. So I want to tell you a little bit about the research that I've done. And I don't have my book stack with me, but I've read, I have a book stack that is filling a basket by my bed now, this giant basket, and over 50 books. Much of the hours where I was sick had nothing else my brain could do. All I could do was focus on the Bible. Like that's all I could do. And as I focused on the Bible in that state, those words sunk into my psyche. And you know, the Bible says that the word of God is alive and active. In Hebrews 4:12, it's sharper than any two-edged sword. It penetrates even to dividing soul and spirit, joint and marrow. What that means is the word of God is living. There's life, actual life in those words, which is incredible. But I want to give you a little bit. Hey, Charles, good to have you here. I want to give you a little bit about this picture and keep it brief because there's so much information that I never thought I would ever want to learn that I've learned. That this information is very easily overwhelming. But what I want to do that not many people are doing is I want to give you a full picture. I know you probably hear 5G is bad. We don't have filtered water we don't have clean water anymore. Our air is contaminated by chemtrails. We have toxins in our blood. The soil is not what it used to be. We've lost 6 inches of topsoil in the last few decades. But what I think most of America is missing is this full picture. And I have so much information on all of this. We're going to publish it in sections and segments. Today, I want to kind of give you the overview of it. So this picture includes 5 things. Our soil and our food, even organic food, is not what you think it is. It has been stripped of nutrients intentionally. The plan to ruin America's vitality started back in 1910 when very smart scientists like Royal Rife, Tesla, physicists, found out that you could put a disease cell within inches of a particular sound wave and that cell would disintegrate and die, and there was no disease that would ever exist in a human body. Meaning, big pharma shouldn't even exist. The entire drug market should not exist in America. What? If you can immediately and miraculously detox and shed disease from your cells, there is no need for a single prescription. And the billion-dollar industry that big pharma is would have completely not even happened. So in 1910, that knowledge was intentionally removed. I was in medical school in 2001 and 2005, and I got halfway through an RN degree, and I could tell you not once did I learn we are bioelectrical beings. Not once did I learn that our fascia holds our memory, that we have living water inside of the myofascial organ that wraps around every other organ in our body. Fascia is its own organ. Cannot be measured because when we die, it just collapses, and we don't even know really what sustains it. We have a quantum realm inside of us. That's the fascia in our body, full of living structured water that lives in a gel-like state that holds our memories. Our trauma lives in our body. That's why The Body Keeps a Score, a very good book. So the 5 pillars are soil. We have lost 6 inches of topsoil in the last few decades. The Biblio Diet goes over this. Great book by Josh Axe and Jordan Rubin. Blood and our life force. The life of the flesh is in the blood. It's in Leviticus. Our blood has been contaminated by toxins that were injected into us since birth. For example, in the vitamin K shot alone, there is more metals than a doctor would ever give a human adult via IV. What? But they're considered safe because they're additives to that vitamin shot. What? We have been contaminated since birth on purpose. Again, this is a century-old plan for destruction of our vitality. It's not by chance if you feel sick, you know somebody feels sick, you feel off, nothing's working like it used to. None of my remedies that used to work, none of them worked this year. None of them. Turmeric tea, juice fasting, nothing was working, which is insane. And I thought I was crazy, but I wasn't. I have finally learned what's actually happening. The 3rd pillar is we are bioelectrical beings. This was stripped out of textbooks. The physicists and the doctors and the practitioners that knew this were outlawed or murdered. It's on record. You can find this, not in Google. Read the books. Books have the truth in them. And then water and H3O2, which is structured water. We don't have structured water. The typical bottled water in America is alkaline, which is not structured. Alkaline water is not what you think. It's not great at all. Spring water, mineral spring water, is structured water. And then the air we breathe is contaminated almost every day by chemtrails, which a scientist measured his sweat and found that he had thousands of micromilligrams of heavy metals in his sweat after one chemtrail day. One. This is the full picture. This is why we're not quickly healing. This is why when we get COVID, weird things happen. This is why we're not bouncing back. This is why remedies aren't working, because it's 2025 and this has been happening for over a century. And we're headed to 2030. We're headed to this plan for less people to be on the earth. It's a very real plan. People like Bill Gates have actually said live on stage, we have too many people alive in the earth. So the Pfizer shot, if you ever took any of the shots, you have to do a heavy metal detox. Like, it's the number one thing you do. The Pfizer shot has a 100% mortality rate within 7 years. Unfortunately, I can't show you proof of any of this. Even Claude, ChatGPT, all the AI machines have guardrails, and they've been stripped of the truth, and they've been injected with words like, I can't talk to you about this, and here's a help center in case you feel psychologically unstable. AI. All the major LLMs say that. So where do we go for information about this? I didn't know where to go. I had to literally read a stack of books. I read this, like, I'm obsessed with this book, The Invisible Rainbow. I've got it marked up. I'm reading it literally hour by hour now in my day. And I'm learning so much about wireless radiation and the effects of wireless systems on our body. And all guardrails for wireless systems were erased. The cell phone tower companies managed to get all these safety studies completely removed. And the World Health Organization, very corrupt, was a part of that. So we haven't had safety guardrails, and we've been hurtling towards this destruction, which is now in place very effectively. We've been hurtling towards this for 100 years. And it's why, like, I can't believe what I went through this year and why nothing was working and how insane it felt to just feel like nothing was going to get me out of the pit I was in. But this is why. This is why. So there's a lot more we can dig into, and I will in the days ahead. I'm actually going to bring people in on this channel. We're going to do interviews. We're going to talk about each of these things at a very in-depth level. I want to get information out there, and I believe that God will protect this channel. I really, really do. I don't think he wants, I mean, ultimately, I can't speak for him as well. And I'm just walking in the steps he gives me. But I believe in what the word says, that what the enemy meant for evil, God's going to use for good. And if it weren't for my health completely collapsing this year, I would never have learned any of these 5 pillars at the in-depth level I have, especially bioelectricity, which is huge, 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 and how to regain health at a frequency quantum level, which is not, just for reference, this is how real the quantum level is. It lives in the fascia in your body, which wraps around every single organ. The quantum realm lives in your body, and it's wrapped around every single organ. Fascia is incredible. It's this living structure in our body that holds structured water in a gel-like state. And we're not feeding it because we don't have structured water unless we're drinking mineral water, right? I told you guys about this the other day. Mountain Valley spring water, which I can get at Sprouts still. I don't know for how long. Like, they tried to take that off the shelves. It's the only spring water. There have been people, independent labs, doing tests on these bottled waters, and this is one of the only ones. It's one of the only ones that still has antioxidants and doesn't have metals. I don't know for how long. And maybe, I connect with somebody and we can bring spring water to the world. I don't know. But I'm telling you guys, we have to be aware. We have to be the resistance, and we have to be on guard. So that's what I wanted to bring to you today. I want to go a lot more in depth on each of these pillars in the days to come. And I want to tell you that in general, if we know this, we're going to have the power in our individual autonomy within our zone of what we can control. We're going to have the power to spread hope and healing and heal ourselves without the hundreds of thousands of doctor bills and no answers, which is a horrible place to be in. Horrible place to be in. So that's what I want for each of you. That's why I'm here. And drop comments. If you're watching the replay, if you're live, like, drop comments. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And what I'm going to do is research it and continue to learn and build out this picture that I'm building out for you of all of the reasons why we have to reclaim our health, and why a little thing, a little supplement, more turmeric, more sunshine, those things alone aren't going to do it. But I don't want to scare you either, because movement restores bioelectrical fields. Movement rebuilds fascia. That's amazing. Charles well water on his grandparents' farm, and yeah, we have well water too. We're going to be doing some more tests on it. But I mean, if you're pulling from wells and you're off city water and you have your own supply, that's honestly the way to go. It is. You've got to control the food supply yourself. And I will tell you, my family and I are going to build a farm next year and get out of where we live and try to get out of the glyphosate sprayed golf courses that are literally within feet of us and away from 5G, which will soon be 6G. But you can't escape it. You also have to know how to heal. Right? And that's what I'm going to bring to you guys, is how to continue to heal. So I'm going to keep this short. Like I said I would. I just want to bring you these 5 pillars. I'm going to be going more in depth. If you had to pick one, if you're like, okay, I'm not feeling good, something's off, Julia, I got to do something. Look at the sources of everything you get. And more than reading ingredients, because it's more than that now, ask yourself, how am I going to detox from metal? Cilantro does that. Parsley does that. Pulls metal out. Probably need a binder if you're starting to pull metals out, right? So the first thing you should be doing is looking into these things besides looking at the food you eat. And that's amazing. You're at Costa Rica, now Panama City. I mean, yeah, there's reason people leave in the US, you know? And then the other thing I would really recommend you do is a blood cleansing protocol, which is what changed my life in November. You know, a lot of you know I talk about this stuff, the plant spray. This is how I healed in November. Radical healing went from like, couldn't even sit at my computer for 2 minutes. We're going on 2 hours and I do need to stop because we're not going to go backwards and have bad habits again. But like what? Radical healing and quantum healing works on your fascia at an unseen level to pull up old trauma and release it, which likely many of us have never done. I know I never did that. So we're going to be able to have radical healing through quantum and frequency healing, which is incredible to me. Very, very exciting to me. Means as there is a plan to destroy ourselves, we can actually regain vitality at a level we've maybe never had before. Do you guys hear me? We can have healing at a level we've never had before. And this live stream I just got off of with Owen, my good friend Owen Himzath, overcame cancer, reaching a couple million people per month on his Beat Cancer With Me Facebook page. We talked about, he's on the plant spray as well. We talked about this level of emotional healing you go through when you're on frequency medicine. Like I have had days where I'm just in tears and it's like the best, weirdest feeling. It's like grief releasing. It's incredible, incredible. And, you know, I've talked about FSM, frequency specific microcurrent, can restore our brains, bring us back to a natural state. The plant spray does that too. It restores our bioelectrical fields immediately. The first spray you take starts to restore that immediately. Yeah, Charles, cell salts. That's a great thing to do. Salt your water, eat sea salt every day. I do a little bit every morning. But I mean, the amazing thing here is, you know, we could dwell on these pillars and we will. We'll talk about these more. But I'm telling you, the most exciting part of this to me is that we can heal at a level we've maybe never healed before. And that is thrilling. All right, guys, it's okay. I'm going to hop off here and get to the family, but I hope you all are doing well. And I look forward to bringing you more of these in the days to come. Thank you for being here with me. Half of me just is like, what are you doing, Julia? I would say that's 10% of me. That used to be half of me. Now it's like 80% of me, 90% of me, 95% of me is like, let's go. Let's talk about this stuff. Let's bring it to the world. God is going to protect this message. He's got his hand on it. I went through a significant experience I never imagined I would ever go through. I learned things I never wanted to learn, and he brought those things to my knowledge. So I give him the credit for even being here. And if he brought me here, he's going to sustain this mission. I have absolutely no doubt at all. It's in his hands, not even mine. Thank you guys for being a part of this, and I'll see you on the next one.